Hello there, sports gamers. Welcome on back into the channel. I'm Brandon Satterwhite, and today we have more MCS coverage for you as we have John, Mr. Football, with us here, and he just won the final MCS monthly tournament heading into the Ultimate Madden Bowl. John, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you guys for having me.
So, to start off, can you just give me a little bit of background about you? How long have you been playing Madden in general? And then when did you really start getting into the competitive scene?
Yeah, I've been playing Madden for a while, ever since Madden 13, when I was about 13 years old, is when I started playing online and stuff like that. I didn't really get to like this level of good until probably around like Madden 21, Madden 20 is where I started like take off. And then like Madden 22 is when I like made the first like Madden Bowl. And then like that's kind of just kept on improving since then.
All right. And so, I do want to ask, since we are sort of wrapping up the MCS season, we finished the monthly challenge series. Now we're heading into the Madden Bowl. How did you feel about the new format that the MCS took on? The number of tournaments expanded from 4 to 6. Did you feel like it was too much, too little, or do you feel like it was a pretty good balance?
At first, it felt like it was too much, but honestly, when I was playing it, it definitely is a lot of tournaments compared to last year in terms of like you have to prepare a lot more times throughout the year because it is literally a monthly qualifier. So it was every month was pretty much just getting on the game and like always staying prepped, ready to go, stuff like that. So it was definitely different. And I'm actually kind of happy it was 6 tournaments at the end because it just kept me on the game more.
All right. And so getting into this tournament, one thing I always like to ask MCS players is the first part of an MCS tournament is that qualifying stage where you're playing so many games over a few days trying to qualify for that single elimination part of the tournament. How do you stay focused during those long sessions where you're playing so many games back to back to back?
It can be a lot. It's actually pretty tough to stay focused. That was definitely one of my issues before in other Maddens was like I would just get super mad because obviously you take one loss and then it just kind of turns to another loss and then just keeps on going downhill from there. So a big thing is just staying mentally prepared, kind of taking breaks after every loss, taking breaks after every couple wins in a row, just kind of staying composed and just keeping at it.
And so you competed in a few MCS majors in the past, but they said on the broadcast this was actually your first in person major. What was this experience like, and how is it different from your previous ones?
It was different. I went to the Madden Bowl last year as just like a guest, just like a fan, I guess, as you could say. So it's not like it got me to like see like the whole arena or studio, all that stuff they have going on there. But really like getting flown out, all that stuff, getting prepared to play in person, just seeing everyone in person. It was pretty cool. It was definitely different, especially being like side by side your opponent. You can kind of like see them in the corner of your eye, like while you're playing. It's definitely different for sure.
Now, in your semifinal game, you're matched up against Strap, and it was pretty close there in the first half, but you were able to basically shut him out in the second half. Was there something different that you did in that second half that led you to being more successful defensively, or did he just sort of play more into what you're really good at on defense?
In the first half, I felt like I was playing decent defense, but I just kept making small mistakes on defense, which like I let him get a touchdown with like 19 seconds left before half. That was a huge mistake. That was just a huge mental lapse. So during like that little halftime break, like 15 minutes or so, whatever it is, I kind of just thought I was like I just got to make it pass. You know, I kept forcing to long third downs, and then I was switching from a dime set to a dollar set, which allows me to blitz a lot more heavily. So once I got into those like long third and tens, is when I just started sending the gap really and just forcing him to make mistakes.
So you end up winning that game 28-14. Now you're going up against TJ in the finals. And both of you had really great years in the MCS this year. Both of you top 10 in the power rankings going into this final. Are there any nerves going into a game like that, knowing you're going up against a very hot player and you're just one win away from the belt?
It was insane. Kind of like leading up to it, I was thinking like, I lost the finals last year to Henry, and I just knew like I just can't lose this game right here. TJ's a great player. He's great on offense. I know he's a little lacking on defense, so I just want to take advantage of that, and then just try and get a mistake or two out of him on offense because he is one of the best offensive players.
So you get into the final against TJ, and most of your points in that final game came on some really big plays. You had the long touchdown pass to Dion in the first half, and then the big run from CJ2K in the second half. How big of a momentum boost is it when you get those big house call type touchdowns like that?
Oh, they're huge. And in this game, like it's super defensive. Well, it's pretty offensive game. But once you get down like inside the 10-yard line, where it's really hard to score. So that was really my key, was just avoiding the red zone. I didn't want to get stuck on like the 5 to 7 yard line, because then that's kind of where your drive just ends right there. So it was big to get those huge touchdowns.
So you're trading blows back and forth in this game. Fourth quarter, game's tied at 17. You get down inside the red zone, like you're saying, and you settle for a field goal. How are you feeling right then, knowing you've got a lockdown on defense, or this guy is going to go Tom Brady and pull off a game-winning drive on you?
It was tough taking that 3 points, even though it was 4th and 10. It's a pretty tough down to get, even in like an offensive game. That 4th and 10. So I know I had to kick, of course. But getting back on defense, I just knew like I was like I just want to keep him passing, forcing the tough third downs, blitz him in the right times, just trying to get a mistake out of him.
And so TJ comes back, works the ball down the field to around the 30, and he gets in fourth down. And instead of taking the three like you did, he decides to go for it, trying to get the win. And you're able to pick it off, and you take it all the way back to the house. As you're taking that one back, what's going through your mind knowing you're probably about to win your first MCS belt?
And honestly, when I picked it off, I didn't even really like realize in like that second. I didn't realize that the game was like basically over. All I needed was like a first down at worst. But like when I was running, I was like, just score. Just keep on going, just score. Try to hold him the next drive, obviously. But it was surreal. Once I scored and really like looked at the time, he only had like 2 timeouts, whatever left. It was a very good feeling.
So you end up winning this one, and you win the tournament. You get the belt, you win the money. You've been around the MCS for a while now. You've won a ton of games, you've won a lot of money, you've made several majors. And the only thing that was really missing on your resume was a belt. And now that you've gotten that, how do you feel about your total body of work in the MCS over the last few years?
It makes me feel a lot more complete. Getting the belt, that was kind of like the last piece I needed to resume, because I've made a finals before. I'd made a bunch of Final Four, or a couple Final Fours, made a bunch of Final Eights, stuff like that. Getting a few majors in there, obviously. But yeah, it was huge. It was huge to kind of like put like the cherry on top. It felt like.
And so now all eyes turn to the Madden Bowl here in a couple of weeks. How are you feeling heading into it? How do you feel about where your game's at, how you're playing, and just everything leading up to it?
It feels good, honestly. I feel like one of the hottest players. I just won, I think, like 7 games in a row, 6 games in a row in this tournament to take down the belt. I just feel good. I feel good on offense. I feel good on defense, obviously. I'm just kind of ready to go at it.
All right. And so, as we sort of wrap up here, a final question: what are you most looking forward to at the Madden Bowl outside of playing the actual game and competing for, the title of Madden Bowl champion?
It's huge to see the guys. That's what I'm really looking forward to. It's 14 players in the Madden Bowl, so they're obviously all going to be there. And then everyone's bringing guests too, so it's a bunch of the guys that I lab with, stuff like that, talk to in like Discords and all that stuff. It's going to be cool to see all of them. So that's what I'm really really happy to see there. It's just like the friendly atmosphere and all that stuff.
Well, I'll definitely be excited to be watching you here in a couple of weeks. Again, congratulations on the win. We'll be rooting for you in the Madden Bowl here in a couple of weeks.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you so much. And that'll wrap things up for this interview, y'all. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave it a like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of our MCS coverage. And for all things sports gaming news and updates, stay tuned to Sports Gamers Online. I'm Brandon Satterwhite with SGO. Thank you for watching.